F.E.A.R is a game that came out on the PC last year, and when it arrived, it completely changed the way that first-person shooters felt. Now the game is coming to the Xbox 360, and console gamers can get their chance to see the incredible kinetic action, the psychological horror that is F.E.A.R. F.E.A.R basically puts you in what would basically be a John Woo movie if he ever made a movie about you being a military paranormal trooper who's investigating just really weird goings-on in this town called Auburn. Basically, a rogue military commander has taken charge of a cloned army and they're tearing up the place. You get dropped in and have to stop them, but while you're doing that, there's this freaky little girl that keeps showing up and killing everyone, and you're kind of trying to figure out what's going on. We don't want to tell you too much about the plot because F.E.A.R is a really great game to uncover as you play, but you are a military soldier who's sent in, you investigate paranormal situations, and there's a lot of paranormal going on in this place. One of the downsides of the 360 version is that this is a very complex game to control. It kind of feels like it was made for the PC. There are so many things that you can do in the game, and they're all mapped to different buttons on the controller, and even after playing through the entire game, we were still having trouble getting the right buttons pressed at the right time because so much happens in this game so instantaneously that you don't have a lot of time to react. It has to be pretty much instinctive. So you'll find yourself fighting the controller a bit throughout the game. The AI in F.E.A.R is superb. You've never really seen anything quite like this. These guys not only just come at you, they try to flank you. They're always looking for cover. They'll knock things down. They'll talk to each other. They'll pin you down while their friends throw grenades on you or flank you. They do all sorts of really intelligent things that you're going to be hard-pressed to fight them all. And I think this is one of the things that makes F.E.A.R a really great shooter, is the sense that each firefight can be different. It's not quite the same scripted things over and over again, just depending on the events that happen throughout the fight. If F.E.A.R does have a weakness, it does get a bit repetitive, not only in its feel, but also its look. You're always fighting through these deserted levels. It's always kind of industrial or office. The game kind of drags on a bit sometimes, but at the same, it does its fair bit to try to shake things up. It throws some new enemies at you, it throws some plot twists, but for the most part, you're fighting these clone soldiers over and over again. So by the end of the game, you'll probably get used to them quite a bit. The single-player story in F.E.A.R is about 10 hours, which is a good length. There are some extra bonus things in the Xbox 360 version that the PC didn't have, such as an instant action mode, which is kind of like a time trial mode where you can upload your score afterwards and compare it to everyone online. And then there's also a bonus mission, which only lasts about 10 minutes, and it lets you play the game briefly from the perspective of another F.E.A.R team member. The multiplayer in the game is very similar to the PC version. You have deathmatch, team deathmatch, capture the flag. You have up to 16 people on Xbox Live. One of the great things, though, is they still manage to keep the slow motion effect, but not everyone gets it. Basically, slow motion is a power-up. F.E.A.R is a pretty straightforward port of last year's excellent PC game. If you've played the PC game already, then you won't find a lot of new stuff here. But if you haven't played F.E.A.R, if you like horror, or if you really like great action, then you should definitely check this game out because it'll be one of the most intense shooters you'll play on the 360 this year.